Every morning begins before the sun has earned its place in the sky, and long before the world has decided whether it will rise to its potential or sink back into comfort. In those quiet hours when most are still wrapped in dreams and excuses, the warrior chooses to wake not simply from sleep but from complacency, from hesitation, from the illusions that make the weak believe they have time. The body may feel heavy, the air may still be cold, but the mind must move first. Discipline is not born from comfort, it is forged where resistance lives. When the world is silent, the spirit listens, and it is in that silence that the decision is made: today will not be wasted. To live this way is not a trick of motivation or a burst of passion that fades as the day grows older. It is a commitment etched deeply into the bones, built through repetition until action becomes nature. The lazy wait for inspiration, but the disciplined act without permission. Rising early is not about the hour itself, it is about claiming the day before the world can shape your thoughts for you. It is choosing to sharpen the mind before distraction dulls it, to train the body before weakness settles in, to prepare the spirit before doubt finds an opening. This is where superiority is cultivated, in the unseen moments when no applause exists and no one is watching. There is no negotiation with the self in these hours. The mind will offer soft lies that rest is deserved, that effort can wait, that tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow is a deception that traps those who refuse to confront themselves today. The warrior hears those whispers and cuts through them like a blade through fog. There is no mercy shown to weakness, no excuse accepted from the self. The path is walked not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Each step taken in resistance strengthens the will, and each moment surrendered to comfort weakens it. Training is not limited to swords, to strength, or to skill alone. The true training is in awareness, awareness of desire, of fear, of ego, of the restless pull toward distraction. When rising early, the mind must be sharpened as much as the body. The breath becomes a weapon, the thoughts become strategic, and the intention behind every action becomes precise. The world is full of noise, but in these hours, clarity emerges. This is when decisions are aligned with purpose rather than impulse. Those who wait until the world is loud are already behind, swept into currents they did not choose. There will be days when exhaustion weighs heavier than iron, when doubt creeps in like a shadow, when the path feels endless and victory distant. These are the days that separate the few from the many. Anyone can act when energy is high and circumstances are easy. Only the rare ones persist when the spirit is tested. To rise despite fatigue is to declare mastery over the self. To push through resistance is to claim authority over fate. There is no battle more important than the one fought within, and every morning presents the opportunity to win it anew. Consistency becomes the true measure of strength. One great effort means nothing if followed by surrender the next day. Discipline is not a moment. It is a rhythm, a steady drum carrying forward through hardship, temptation, and uncertainty. The world respects consistency more than talent, endurance more than brilliance. The warrior does not seek bursts of greatness. Instead, greatness is quietly carved into daily routine. The repetition may seem simple, but it builds an unbreakable foundation. Others crumble when storms arrive because they only prepared in moments of comfort. The disciplined remain standing because they trained when no one else would. Even in solitude, the warrior is not alone, for purpose stands beside him like a companion that never abandons its host. Every repetition, every deliberate act, every silent commitment strengthens that bond. To wake early is to align with purpose before distractions fracture attention. It is to look inward and confront whether one is living by principle or drifting without direction. Those who drift blame the world, those who live with purpose shape it. The path of relentless self-discipline strips away illusions. It reveals who truly commands the mind, the higher self that seeks growth or the weaker self that craves comfort. This awakening is not gentle, it demands sacrifice, it removes the luxury of excuses, it confronts failure directly and refuses to allow it to define the spirit. The disciplined do not complain about circumstances, they reshape themselves to overcome them. They do not seek validation, they seek improvement. They rise not to be seen, but to become stronger than they were yesterday. In these moments of quiet struggle, humility also grows. The disciplined understand that mastery is never finished. There is always more to refine, more to learn, more to conquer within. Each morning becomes a reminder of impermanence. Yesterday's effort does not guarantee today's strength. The weapon must be sharpened again, the mind must be strengthened again, the will must be reaffirmed again. This repetition is not a burden, it is freedom because it releases one from dependence on chance or mood. While others blame time, luck, or circumstance, the disciplined understand that the day is won or lost before it even begins. The advantage is claimed when the decision is made to rise, to act, to train, to prepare. It is in these early battles that confidence is forged, not as arrogance, but as certainty that one has already defeated hesitation before facing the world. The spirit moves forward with quiet authority, grounded and unshaken, because it has already proved itself in private. Those who refuse this path will never understand its power. They will watch from a distance, wondering why some rise higher while they remain bound to excuses. They will seek shortcuts and complain about difficulty, not realizing that true strength was cultivated long before the moment of visible success. The few who choose discipline walk a harder road, but they walk it with clarity, knowing that every step earns its worth. To wake early, to train, to commit, to resist comfort, to hold oneself to a standard higher than the world demands, this is the way of those who refuse to live as the many do. It is not glory that drives them, but alignment with purpose, mastery of the self, and the unyielding refusal to let weakness command the day. This is the awakening that only the rarest embrace, the awakening that separates those who merely exist from those who truly live. No mercy, no excuses. There comes a moment in every life when the path divides sharply between those who accept responsibility for their fate and those who hide behind excuses. The difference is not written in strength, talent, or opportunity. It is written in the willingness to stand alone before one's actions and say, "This is mine." The weak search for reasons outside themselves, pointing to circumstance, to other people, to misfortune, as if the world has conspired to hold them back. But the warrior looks inward first. The blade does not sharpen itself, the spirit does not harden by chance, and victory does not arrive through complaint. Everything begins with ownership, complete, unbroken, uncompromising. When a mistake is made, the untrained mind rushes to defend its pride. It seeks excuses to protect comfort instead of truth to build strength. But when responsibility is embraced fully, pride is sacrificed in service of growth. There is no shame in failing honestly. Shame exists only in refusing to learn. Each failure becomes a teacher, each setback a forge in which character is reforged. To accept responsibility is to remain in motion, always correcting, always refining, always stepping forward. To reject responsibility is to freeze in place, bound by fear, repeating the same weakness day after day while pretending it is fate. Life does not soften itself for those who hesitate. The path is hard by nature, and the world respects only those who are willing to carry their burdens without complaint. The warrior does not ask for fairness, the warrior asks for strength. There will be times when the weight feels unjust, when others appear to be granted easier roads, when effort goes unnoticed and reward seems far away. In those moments, responsibility becomes the anchor that prevents collapse. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" the disciplined ask, "What must I become to overcome this?" The question reshapes reality, turning adversity into training rather than suffering. Blame is a poison that corrodes the will. It whispers gently that nothing is your fault, that the world is unkind, that you are a victim of circumstance. Many accept this poison because it numbs the sting of truth, but it also steals power. When you blame the world, you surrender control of your life to forces outside yourself. Responsibility is harsh, but it is empowering. It says, "If this is my doing, then I can remake it. If this is my weakness, then I can strengthen it." Ownership breathes life into action. Blame feeds paralysis. There is no honor in complaining about the battlefield while refusing to train for it. The body must be conditioned, the mind disciplined, the emotions mastered, not because life guarantees reward, but because the warrior refuses to approach any challenge unprepared. Every situation becomes an arena for self-command. If patience is lost, it must be rebuilt. If fear appears, it must be confronted. If doubt rises, it must be studied and dismantled. Total ownership turns every experience, success, failure, struggle, or victory, into a tool for refinement. The path of ownership demands truthfulness with oneself. It requires looking directly at habits that weaken the spirit: laziness disguised as rest, distraction disguised as relief, procrastination disguised as planning. No one else needs to judge these things because the warrior judges himself more strictly than any opponent ever could. The untrained seek validation, the disciplined seek correction. There is no hiding from the self when responsibility is absolute. The mirror becomes a place of honesty rather than illusion. In the silence of accountability, excuses grow loud, begging for attention. They say there was not enough time, not enough support, not enough luck. But time is created through discipline, support is earned through integrity, and luck favors those who refuse to wait for it. The path reveals itself only to those who walk it without hesitation. If the strike fails, the form must be corrected. If the strategy collapses, it must be rebuilt. There is no room to blame the sword when the hands have not yet mastered it. Ownership also extends to thoughts and emotions. Anger, resentment, jealousy, and fear are not imposed by the world, they arise from within. The warrior does not allow these to command action. He studies them like an opponent, observing their shape, their movement, their influence, and then takes authority over them. Responsibility means refusing to say, "I had no choice." There is always a choice, even when it is difficult, uncomfortable, or painful. Freedom is not the absence of discipline. Freedom is created through discipline. The few who rise above the many do so because they stop negotiating with weakness. They stop explaining why they could not and begin asking how they will. Every obstacle becomes a measure of resolve. Every hardship becomes a test of commitment. The world may strike, fate may press hard, but the inner command remains unbroken. Those who accept total responsibility do not wait for ideal conditions. They act within the conditions they have, bending them slowly through persistence. This way of living is not loud or dramatic. It does not need recognition. It is quiet, steady, and relentless. Each day is claimed with the understanding that no one else will walk this path for you, no one else will carry your discipline, no one else will build your character. Responsibility does not isolate, it strengthens. It burns away dependency and leaves behind a spirit that stands firm whether the world supports it or opposes it. Those who cling to excuses will always find them because the world provides endless reasons to surrender. The disciplined no longer look for reasons, they look for actions. They do not say, I could not, they say, I did not and I must do better. This honesty cuts deeply, but it also heals. It transforms regret into direction, turning pain into forward motion. The path becomes clearer with every truth accepted and every excuse abandoned. The warrior understands that life will not promise victory, but responsibility guarantees growth. And growth, sustained and unyielding, becomes its own form of triumph. Whether the world recognizes it or not does not matter. The true battle is not against opponents or circumstances, but against the part of the self that would rather retreat than rise. No mercy, no excuses.